Hey everybody, Dave Hodges here, host of the Common Sense Show. We are the show that's freeing America one enslaved mind
Mm.
at a time. We defend God, family, country, and we have a special place in our heart for the oppressed, and it doesn't make a lot of people happy out there. We have experienced record shadow banning, and we're certainly looking for alternatives, as you know. Stay tuned for Scotty Sachs and Dave Hodges' notion that we're going to start spaces and we're going to start re-emphasizing Rumble, which we're happy to do. I think Rumble is a great site. And I want to go where people aren't playing games. And so we're going to do that. But there's a better alternative at the end of the rainbow in which I'm an investor. And it's something called Your News. And we've talked about Your News on air before, and I've decided I'm going to talk about it a lot more. Number one, you should become a contributor. Stay tuned. We'll tell you how and why you should do it and how you do it. And number two, you should also become an investor like I am because this thing is exploding and this is the time to get in because this is when people make the money. And to hear talk to us about it is the CEO of Your News, Sam Anthony. Sam, welcome to the show. And man, did you come along at the right time? Because I don't think I've been more upset with the status right now with what's going on in social media than I am right at this present moment. And so there are alternatives out there. I mean, Next News, as I was telling you, he went dark for a week, and he's got a White House press credential, and he's being discriminated against. Zach Costello, same thing, and now Dave Hodges, 2 million, and 10 weeks later, 300,000, and that's not even going to be that high next month. And this is my YouTube stats. So, yeah, we're not pleasing to the powers that be. I actually did a piece, Sam, you'll like this. How to make a grilled cheese sandwich? Will that get more views than popular populist issues related to our government? And I came on here and I had a pan and a spatula and I described how I make a grilled cheese sandwich. And I got more views on that than I got on everything in the last month other than about two pieces I've done. The grilled cheese sandwich outdrew the news on YouTube.
Right. Well, first of all, Dave, thanks for having me on.
It's great
And
to have you on. Um, YouTube is now worth a trillion. What do they have? A billion contributors?
100 million, 115 million, 104 million, I don't know. But it's over 100 million now. And so, as we talked about it, platforms are valued based on how many creators they have. There's an actual number to it. The way you find it out is you take the creator base and you divide it into the market cap of the company. It's hard for YouTube because YouTube is part of Alphabet, which might own 100 companies that makes the market cap. But MSNBC just came out and made the announcement that just YouTube alone is valued at $1 trillion.
That's
So if
amazing.
if you have 100 million creators and you divide it into a trillion, it's 10,000 a creator.
Wow.
Pretty simple.
That is amazing. That is, but the news is so full of crap. I just can't stand to watch mainstream media. I really can't. Here we have all this data coming out on the corruption in Arizona politics and the elections. And it's omnipresent, it's federal investigated, and it's being reported. You got Judicial Watch all over this as well, too. And there's been legal action on it. And yet, when you turn on the media, they're an election denier, total conspiracy theorist. There's anything wrong with our elections. And this is the nonsense you hear in these horse crap, excuse my French, mainstream media. And I'm talking particularly Channel 3 Independent and Channel 5 CBS News. And CBS News is controlled by, I hate to say it, but I guess I can get away with it since my grandma's name was Freiberg, Zionist interests who put Israel over America's interests. And that's a fact. And I think when you're in this country, you should represent America first. And you can have a close alliance with Israel, but they shouldn't be the dominant person in the deal. Not if you're an American politician, not if you're in the American media. Where's your loyalty? So that's kind of where we're at. And when I go on your site, I see pieces that embellish local events. They just like the game last night. the concert someplace in a local town, and then you have the national news. But what I don't see is this nonsense fabrication of distortion of political facts, why they continue to tell lies that you know are lies.
Well, Dave, first of all, I'm in complete agreement with you, and I think most of America is too. I mean, they're all kind of disgusted with the legacy media. We didn't have that problem, or at least we didn't think we had that problem 50 years ago. Today, we absolutely know we have it. My personal opinion is it's because all the media was just it's all centralized news because they allowed institutions to come in and buy up all the media. Now you just have a handful of institutions, and it's much easier to control six institutions than it is to control 500 to 1,000 independent media companies. So it's all consolidated under very few people, and they're all pushing an agenda. So the people that you're listening to are reading something off a teleprompter. If you're talking about television news, they're not really reporting. They could think it's an absolute lie, but they're not going to give up their $3 million a year job. They're just gonna spit it out of their mouth. Very few people are going to go, I can't say this. I quit. They're getting paid a good amount of money, and they need that money because if they leave, they ain't getting it anywhere else.
Well, unless you're telling the Kerry Lake story or even the Liz, let me tell the Kerry Lake story real quick.
Go ahead.
Candidate for governor, okay, and all kinds of interesting stuff went on. And then the biggest thing is when she was running for the Senate in 2022, you're going to like this. She's running for office, and when they opened the voting polls, the voting centers in Republican districts in Maricopa County,
Mm.
50% plus one. Okay. Democrat, okay, districts, 50% plus one. In the Republican districts, they had 56% of the voting machines fail upon opening, despite the fact there's a state law that says you have to test it 2 and 3 days before. And then in the Democratic districts, they didn't have any failures. How are we not supposed to think there's nonsense going on there?
First of all, none of it's real. It's all an illusion. It's all about power. You have to know this by now. Okay. With all the evidence that they've brought forward and all the facts, I mean, I've seen all the same videos you've seen, back in what was it, the 2020 election? They've came out with so much evidence that was damning, and nothing ever happened from it, Dave. And so you just have to know that the powers to be have no interest in fixing this.
Well, something did happen. I did, gosh, probably about a 6 month study. Now, I didn't want to come out and look like a nutcase in saying the election was stolen from Donald Trump, although I was hearing enough stories from representatives like Liz Harris and so forth that she was saying, hey, funny business. Charlie Kirk and I were talking funny business, Dave, and he was a big, big, big proponent of my work and other work on voter fraud. So I wrote an article that I published on May 1st, 2021. Okay, so this is, gosh, what is this? Probably 6, 7 months after the election. And I alleged that the election was stolen in 5 ways. And I had good documentation. Well, Paul Preston instantly had me on his show. Okay, 6 a.m. Sarah Westall interviewed me and about 11 other high profile people. And within 2 days, they had all been threatened. In fact, Paul Preston was told, Dave Hodges is going to get you killed. You better back off. Well, that's a true story. He echoed that on a show. So there was pushback on this. Make no mistake about it. But Kari Lake, she should be the governor or the senator right now. In fact, did you know that Kari Lake was actually offered a bribe by the GOP leadership not to run against a real thug in the Democratic Party, Ruben Gallego? And I won't go into all the discrediting him. His life discredits him. His family background discredits him. But did you know that she was offered millions of dollars by the head of the GOP in Arizona not to run?
I did hear that, but I'm wondering if I heard that
It was
from
on
you or
tape.
from.
It was on tape. I played it. I
Ah,
played it on my show.
okay,
It was
yes, I
on
did hear
tape.
that. Yeah.
Carrie recorded it, and nothing happened to the guy. Do you know how illegal that is?
Well,
And here's what he
only
said.
if you're a Republican. Dave. If you're a
Well,
Democrat, that's
well,
not
let me
illegal.
tell you, we are the king of the uniparty here in Arizona. And that's why I need to start writing more articles on your news to expose this. Right now, we have an election between proven criminal Katie Hobbs taking illegal campaign contributions in exchange for political favors that broke the law. And this has actually been investigated, but then somehow it always gets killed by the state attorney general, another Democrat. Okay. And so you have her running, and she's got a ton of ads. And she sounds like the original Valley Girl. That's what my wife calls her. And she makes fun of her speeches. Woman refuses to debate any political candidate she's running against. Now, she's running against former Congressman Andy Biggs. Andy hasn't run one ad. He's the Republican candidate for governor in Arizona, and he hasn't run one ad. That tells me the GOP uniparty, okay? And I'll tell you what I found, Sam. The biggest election thieves in Arizona, they weren't the Democrats. They were the Republicans on the County Board of Commissioners in Maricopa County.
Doesn't surprise me, Dave. I mean, listen, nobody has any interest in fixing this. Otherwise, it would have been fixed a long time ago. So it's all about power and money. And all of it is an illusion as far as I'm concerned. So, and then you got the media that's behind them. So have you ever had Mark Fincham on your show?
Yeah, I've had him on twice.
Yeah, so I mean, I've talked to Mark. He's doing all the investigation into Katie Hobbs. I think he's heading the whole thing up. I don't know where it stands. I know he sends stuff off to the Justice Department, but why there's been no arrests is beyond me. We'll find out. That's all I can tell you. But it seems to me that when the Democrats want somebody arrested, even if it's on a complete BS charge, they somehow get a grand jury to indict, they get it arrested, and then they get an actual conviction. Explain that to me. Trump in the real estate thing. You remember when he, loaned when he borrowed money from Lloyd? I don't think it was Lloyd's of London, maybe it was, whatever the bank was. And they said, "Oh, well, you hurt other businesses because you took more than you needed." And the bank got the money back and they got a conviction and then it was overturned. But I mean, this is the comedy show we have to deal with. So, and then you have the media that's on their side. So, I don't know when, people are going to say enough is enough. And so, as I always say, you're in order to take this back, you either have to have a civil war, which nobody wants. And the only time that's going to happen is when nobody has anything left. Or the second way is you need to make sure that we control the press and not institutions. And
Yeah,
what's that?
I agree. I think I had a good idea, and I think it was an idea ahead of its time. And I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but I came up with this idea called Toss Them All. And we should get a website called tossthemall.com. And we should unelect every GOP in Congress because you don't want communists and godless people from the Democratic Party. So you unelect them and you put in their place architects, teachers, plumbers, just regular people that got to balance a budget and live a regular life who follow the rules. And you replace them in Congress. Toss them all universally, vote out all the Republicans in the primary, and then replace them with regular people.
Dave,
That's how you get reform.
Warren Buffett, I think, had a really good idea, and it was if you do not balance the budget, everybody's gone. In other words, nobody gets their job back and new people have to be elected. See, remember, it's all about money. That's all they're interested in is how they can make more money for themselves. Okay. We have the best Congress and Senate money can buy. Their votes are what's for sale. And so if you make it so if you do not balance the budget, nobody's coming back. Nobody. Okay. That means that whatever you got now, you're never getting again. It's over. You can never come back and
They
be a
would
public
just fix
servant.
the books. No, Sam, they'll just fix the books. I hate to be cynical,
Probably.
but they'll fix the books.
Well, that goes back to the revolution, right? The Civil War. I mean, if you don't like what's happening and you can't get rid of them legally, then do it the other way. But either way, I mean, to me, that's not going to happen until everybody has nothing, until the
Well,
dollar goes to zero.
here's how Katie Hobbs survives, though, the governor of Arizona. She's allowing data centers to come into a drought-ridden state, taking millions of gallons of water every single day. She drove up my utility rates because of this crap by 17%. Okay? And this is unaffordable for most people in Arizona. And she's playing games, playing along with the tech bros that own the Trump administration. And this is why she's being left alone. Hey, she took a $400,000 bribe, and this has been reported in the mainstream media. That's how far this went. And she broke laws to help them. She gave them a health care benefit in breaking the law that she didn't give to anybody else, and she took $400,000 from them. Okay, now, how's she not indicted? That's
Because it's a
amazing.
campaign contribution, even though it is a bribe. That's how
Yeah,
it
yeah,
works. They're
exactly.
just called campaign contributions. That's it.
Well, how does Elizabeth Warren make $12 million last year on a $200,000 salary?
That's the point. How is AOC worth $20 billion after 6 years in office?
What
And she's
about
an
Ilhan
absolute thief.
Omar?
And you know, well, forget it. I mean, so the point is these people aren't working for us. They're working for themselves, and that's it. And politics has turned into a business model. They don't represent the people; they represent themselves, and they're interested in what they can get out of it.
That's
So
right.
this is why you have people. I mean, you know, AOC, I wouldn't hire her for anything. Okay. She's a bartender. She had nothing when she went in 6 years ago. Now she has a net worth of $20 million. You want to explain that to me? It's mathematically impossible. Mathematically impossible. But that's the
This is how
system
stupid
of,
she was. After she got elected because Bernie Sanders helped, she asked the day after the election, when do I get paid? I'm not joking. She asked that question publicly. I mean,
and they're and
that's
they
the intelligence and political
and
awareness of the person that New York just elected. That was crazy.
and this is somebody that they want to run for president of the United States. Okay. Honestly, if you asked her for a rum and coke, I think she would ask you what's in it. All right. I mean, her intellect level is at an all-time low, and this is where we're at. It's really, remember, this is none of it's real. And that's the point. They're putting in the people they want in power, and the media is backing. And it's going to stay that way until somebody does something about it. Don't mean to be the bearer of bad news. I'm just telling you how
No,
it is.
listen. There's the case of Liz Harris, who she and I used to tour the local Tea Party outfits and would do joint presentations together. She's been on my show a lot. She was working in the state house, and people are really upset about the elections. You ask the average person in Arizona, you think the elections are fair? About 65% of them are going to say, no, no, they're corrupt as heck. And so, I mean, we've won that battle, the PR battle. So she actually canvassed Maricopa County, and she found with her team over 300,000 people illegally registered to vote. In other words, they knock on the door. We don't care who the person voted for, but we're looking for Tom Smith. No, no, he doesn't live here. He moved 20 years ago. Yeah, but it says here he voted. And see, she found 300,000 of those in Maricopa County alone. And
Do you
I'm not.
remember? Do you remember the documentary 2000 Mules?
Yeah, well, they covered some of that. Yeah.
Okay, so do you remember they had their cell phones and they were watching them going and picking up ballots and then dropping them off,
Yeah.
and they had video of all this stuff, and they only did a small percentage of them. And the point is, how many of those people actually got arrested? I'll tell you, none.
None, zero.
None.
And
And
then
and
they
and so
made it
what does that tell
illegal.
you?
They made
It
it
tells you,
illegal to videotape someone taking massive votes and putting them into a ballot box. They made that illegal here in Arizona.
hey, and now it's illegal in California to uncover a crime.
No, it pretty much is that way everywhere.
It's now illegal to uncover a crime in California. I mean, so don't forget. I mean, that stuff's not really happening here in Florida, but in these blue states, this is the issue you're up against. And it's all about power and control. That's all they care about. It's not about making the American people a better way of life. It's about making themselves a better way of life off the backs of the American people.
Well, there's a wealth transfer going on right now,
It's
and
gone.
saying the
They've
rich
already
are
done
getting
it.
richer. But here's the wealth transfer. The tech bros and people like them, the oligarchy of the corporations, they're getting filthy rich at our expense. But the politicians are being paid to look the other way to let them get away with it.
course. So
And,
that's how
and,
the
and,
game
I-
is
and I'm
played.
not saying what they're doing is illegal. I'm just saying they're compensated.
David, isn't illegal. They wrote the laws that made it so it's not illegal. Okay.
Yep.
Remember the NGOs that they were giving money to, that 90% of the money never left DC. It went right straight to the politicians'
Yeah.
pockets via whatever. That's not illegal. That money laundering is not, because all they have to say is, you have anything in writing that said, if I give this to them, you give 90% to that. The answer is no. I gave it to them. In the bylaws of the NGO, it said we can give this money to whoever we want. We just decided that the Democratic Party was the place we wanted to give it to. And so it's money laundering. That's all it is, and it's legal. Can't put them in jail, even though you know it's money laundering. You have to have
No,
evidence.
I hear you. Let me give you the second part of Liz Harris. Okay, so they're doing this joint session between the House and the Senate, and because people weren't accepting the so-called audit that was done
Mm-hmm.
by the state Senate president, it was an absolute joke. And so they to calm the fears of the public, they said, okay, well, we'll have a hearing. And so they told Liz, you get to invite someone. They told her to do this. She invited two people out of state, electronic experts on voting machines. They couldn't come. So she invited, excuse me, John Thaler. And he couldn't come, but he sent his protege, Jackie Brailer. And she named names, and some of those people were sitting in the state house. These are people that participated in the fraud. And she had documents, she had notebooks of evidence. And John Thaler, her boss, was a former 30-year RICO prosecutor for the federal government. This wasn't lightly put together. And that wasn't even her first choice. And because she invited him with permission, they kicked her out of the legislature illegally. You can't kick someone out of the legislature because they get someone to testify you don't like, but they did. And listen to this. She ran when they opened it up for a special election. She got 70% of the vote in the second election, and they refused to seat her. That's how
And there you
corrupt
go.
Arizona is.
How are you going to fix it, Dave? That's what I want to know.
Toss them all.
Toss them all.
You see, they can
Um,
only rig an election so far. If you had 80% of the country just say, okay, all GOP in the primary, you're gone. They couldn't stop that. And now you have people who are, do you want the same thing to happen to you? Okay, well, then outlaw campaign contributions from corporations and foreign governments. Make sure APAC, that's controlling Congress, 94% of Congress on the APAC payroll, you need to outlaw that or make them register. You can't have dual citizenship in Congress because the Bible says if you have two masters, you'll love one and hate the other. You have to have term limits. This is
all
what
the
needs
stuff
to.
that Congress and the Senate has to vote on that never will.
Yeah, but if you clean the house with a purge, toss them all purge, now you got people in there with a mandate. I still
Okay.
am hopeful we could do that. Now, Sam, am I going to go bet the line in Vegas that I would be successful in promoting that? No. Um, and it's funny because I'm surprised more people aren't latching onto this given what's happened. Trump, it's going to be affordable in America. Not elected, we're going to be below $2 a gas. Well, yeah, we were for about 3 months. And now we're getting killed. I paid 450 2 days ago.
Yours is that much, huh? I think I just paid 350.
Oh, our governor is in collusion with the refineries out of California. We're getting majorly ripped off. We should be taking our gas. Most of Arizona, minus Tucson, takes their gas from California. In Tucson, they take their gas from Texas, and they're about 30 cents cheaper a gallon. And it's all Katie Hobbs, and she's running on this principle. Well, I'm protecting Arizona water. So how many hundreds of data centers are you allowing in to gulp our water in a drought-ridden area? And then it even gets better. Uh, she's allowing eminent domain against private property owners for the data centers. This is absolutely incredible. And then the Colorado River issue came up. Arizona has to make cuts, Nevada has to make cuts, and so does SoCal. The upstream Colorado River people don't have to make any cuts. So we're getting killed with data centers. We're getting killed with all the other policies. And this is what our governor is doing. And yet the average person is so uninformed that they just honestly they don't know.
They're going about their business, Dave.
Well,
I
this
mean,
is
they're
why
trying
we
to,
need your news. There
well,
needs to be people writing on a local level, okay? And I think this is your strength. You do national stuff, but you do something, it's a coordinated effort between communities to bring news about local communities. And see, if we had more news contributors in Arizona, it could raise the awareness.
completely. I mean, that's what we're working on. The thing is, mainstream media is obviously not going to survive, but at least what everybody understands now is everything is moving to creator-based platforms with monetization. So everybody knows that by now. To give you an example on numbers, YouTube has 100 million creators and they had 3 billion visitors last month. I mean, hell, even Rumble has a quarter million creators, at least we think, a quarter million creators, and they had 52 million visitors last month. So it's the creator based models that drive the audience, but the money goes where the people are. And the people are not listening to mainstream media anymore. So I'm telling you, Fox, CBS, ABC, NBC, the average people consuming that, the age is going to be around 73 years old. Nobody's following up behind. Just look at what your kids are watching. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I mean, it's all on socials. So this is why I keep saying the future of news is going to be a hyper local news content distribution platform like what we do, with a social component where the public can interact and share in the narrative, a monetization model where creators can submit their work and make money, and a self-service ad platform where somebody could buy an ad targeted to one zip code. It not only it's already here, right? This isn't something that's coming. It's already here. And what we're in the process of doing is scaling. It's over the next 24 months. I want to get to a minimum of 50,000 news reporters covering local news all over the United States.
See, that's
Sounds
what
like
we
a lot.
need. I agree. That's what we
Yeah.
need. And then
It,
the advertisers are streetwalkers and they'll follow the money.
that's
Seriously.
all it is. That's all it
They
is.
won't
And
fall in the
so,
line.
yeah, because you could target to a specific zip code. Believe it or not, Dave, the money's not in the national ads. The national ads are $10 CPMs. For everybody who doesn't know what that is, it's a penny. That's a national ad. Local ads, depending, like we charge for just a zip code, like in Phoenix, which might have 50 zip codes. Somebody wants one zip code is 20 cents, but at least an average of 50 to $100 CPMs. The difference between a national ad and a local ad is 10 times the money, and ads are on a best bid basis. So the real money, and I'll give you an example. We had just under 1.6 million visitors last month because we have 6,000 news reporters promoting all their content. And that content could be anything from auto racing to, hockey, basketball, football, not only on a national level, but on a local level. But most of it is local news throughout the United States.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so as these creators come on, it drives a bigger audience. And if we have, I don't even know what the page views are, but let's just say you had 100 million page views and you could put 10 ads around a story. If they're all national ads, the page produced a dime. If you had 100 million page views, it's $10 million. Well, if they were all local ads, Dave, those will all be 10 cents. The page would produce a dollar, 10 cents times 10 ads, or $100 million. So the creator model that we have pays the creator $20 per thousand views for national, but 200 per thousand for local. So the real money's in the local ads, and we're in the process of building to it. Look, Facebook, I don't know if you remember when it came out. What was it, 2001 or 2 or 2003 or something like that? They had to build that thing to what it is today, right? And it took 10 years before they went public. We've now got 6,000 independent creators. I think we could get this to where we're a public company in the next 36 months. It's going to require investment capital rather than go through the institutions, which would be a massive mistake because they would control everything. And then what would end up happening is they would end up changing the culture. We decided to do something called an equity crowd fund where anybody can participate and spend as little or as much as they want. So, for people that aren't accredited investors or don't know what that is, you have to have $1 million net worth or make, I think, 200,000 a year in order to participate. That represents 1% of the population. So the reason that most people never got a call to buy Facebook when it was a dollar was because that all went to the institutional players.
Yeah.
They scaled that thing up, they built it, and what happened? You got to buy it when it was $50. So what we're doing is something called an equity crowd fund, which is not like a GoFundMe or Give Send Go. It's actually done through a brokerage firm, but it allows everybody to participate. They could spend as little as $300 or anywhere in between, but it's regulated from FINRA and the SEC, where it's based on your income. So if you make $1 million a year, you could spend more than if you make, 20 grand a year. So I think
Well,
the
if you
maximum
wanted to
investment,
invest in your news, and we'll get to that in more detail in a minute, but what's the minimum you can come in with?
$300,
Yeah.
$300,
I should
small
know
limit.
that, but I put quite a bit more in than that. So, yeah, that's very reasonable. And this is the news model. No one is doing local coverage on a national platform that people can tap into based on their zip code. That this is what's phenomenal about this. And you still get the national news. And people are looking for somewhere to go. Do you get a lot of disenfranchised reporters that get let go by CNN, Fox, and so forth?
Not them, but I shared this with you earlier. Somebody signed up in Rockford, Illinois. It was a gentleman, and I grew up close to there. And it was somebody I never communicated with. And I looked at his LinkedIn profile because when they fill out the application to become a monetized content creator, I want to see who the hell they are. And he worked for a local newspaper there, which is the parent company owns a bunch of newspapers. So I reached out to him, I called him, we had a conversation, and I said, "Are they going to allow you to write for a second news outlet that's local?" And he said, "Sam, they stopped paying everybody." And that's what I went. So I'm thinking, well, what do you mean? Just you? He goes, "No, everybody. They didn't even let us know. They ran out of money. The whole industry's imploding." And so what's coming is going to be our model. So just think of YouTube. Anybody could create a YouTube channel. Anybody could create a Rumble channel. Dave, anybody could create an Apple podcast, correct? You don't have to go to broadcast journalism school to do any of this stuff, but it's the marketplace that decides. So what we've created is a technology where anybody can become a local news reporter.
I
And
like
they
that.
could, yes. And so who are you going to believe more? The guy on CNN that's telling you what happened in your local community is not there, or the guy who's sitting right there at the city council meeting telling you. So it allows everybody to be able to be a news reporter. And people always say to me, "Well, AI is going to replace journalism." No, it's not. You can't. AI can't write anything unless somebody's there to write about it, okay, or produce content about it. So you really need boots on the ground, and it's the local people. If you can't write, you just use AI to put out a story for you. You put in the bullet points, and once you get what you want, you could submit that article. It's just a tool. So ultimately, what we do is inevitable, Dave. The future of news, and I can tell you with certainty, it'll be an online, hyper local online platform, most likely global, with a social component, a monetization model, a self-service ad platform, and it will allow everybody to be able to contribute and everybody to be able to have a voice. So we're the only players in this space, and this is why we've decided not to go to the institutions and let the people buy this. I
Well,
mean,
if you went
I
to the
always
institutions, they would own you,
completely, I already know
just like
this.
they do the mainstream media today.
Dave, there's two institutions. I personally, one's my lawyer. He has a $300 million hedge fund, and the other one's a friend of mine that's got $100 million private equity fund. And he always keeps telling me I'm going to need them. Well, he's right. When we get ready to take it public and they're buying it at a valuation that's 500 million or better, they
Hmm,
can't control anything. And that's
that's
what I'm
true.
doing.
I've thought about
Basically, I'm
what's going to happen to the
flipping it.
mainstream reporters when they get let go. And I was thinking about a couple people like Jesse Waters. He'd be like a carnival barker. He'll be out there, hey, free throws for a quarter. Step right up. I could see him doing that. And Sean Hannity, he'll be running a valet service at a hotel. And Kellyanne Conway will be running beauty contests for the next honeypot girls. And
They,
so
these are multimillionaires. They're not going to run out of money. They're going to retire when it's all done. They're just
how do
riding
you
the
know they
ship
don't spend
until
it all though? I mean, they're grifters deluxe.
I mean, I don't know what their spending habits are, but I can only tell you that they have enough money that if they never want to work again, they don't have to. And they're just going to ride the ship until the ship goes underwater and they're going to go, we're done. That's the end of it. There's no reason to be in the game anymore. They did their job. All the people that were part of the legacy media are never going to survive new media. They're not, for the most part. Sure, if you're a big name, if you're a Tucker and you've got brand recognition, it's easier for you. But the next people, just go to TikTok and look at some of these people there. I have a contributor that has over 100,000 followers on Facebook. I mean, 100,000. I mean, hell, even Mark Fitcham has almost 250,000 followers on X. He's one of our contributors. When he writes a story, he shares it out on X. How do you think I got almost 1.6 million visitors last month? It's because I have 6,000 of him. Watch what happens when we get to 600,000. There's room for about a million content creators that are monetized.
That absolutely, it's amazing that we're seeing here. Well, first of all, I want to give information. We're going to do a couple things here, and I want to go to what we can do to share screen here, and I'll describe if you're listening on audio only what we're looking at here. We're looking at. Can you see that, Sam?
I can. Yeah.
Okay. So we're looking at how to invest in your news. Number one, you need to become a contributor, and everything is there, and we'll show you the website in a minute. But everything is there for you to become part of this revolution. And then you want to be an investor. Make money off of this. I saw this right away. Was I one of the first? I was in that first group, wasn't I?
You were.
Okay, that's what I thought. So anyway, you see here, HTTPS, the colon // Here's the key though. Invest.highlander.ai/Nico Ventures, NICO Ventures. So invest.highlander.ai/Nico Ventures. And like Sam said, it takes minimum of $300 to get in. Most people are putting a lot more than that in. And eventually you're going to get to where this splits, aren't you? And people are going to basically double their money. Is that right?
Well, I'll tell you exactly how platforms are valued. And also, because I know you have people on audio, if you were to go to yournews.com, that's easy, yournews.com, and go to the bottom, there's a button that says invest. You click it, it'll take you to what Dave just described. So it takes you right there where you can, there's a video I put together which explains the whole thing. But Dave, here's the key. And I think this is what people need to understand. The platforms uh, with nobody using them are worthless. And every platform has four components. They have a way for content creators to upload. They have a way for people to share stories on socials, like X or Facebook. They have a follow author button where you could follow somebody on X or Facebook or YouTube, and they have a self-service ad platform. That's a platform. That's it. So a platform that doesn't have anybody using it would be considered worthless. Do you agree?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, nobody's using it, so there's no content, which means there's no traffic because it's the creators that drive their own traffic. Somebody posts and they share it on their socials. And an example would be YouTube has 100 million people that are telling people to go watch their show or their channel on YouTube. YouTube is just the platform where they distribute information. Where are you taking this? So here's how platforms are valued. Platforms are valued based on how many creators they have, and Wall Street has already set the value. And the value is you take the market cap of the company and you divide the creator base into it. So in the case of YouTube, YouTube has over 100 million creators and they're worth over $1 trillion. So if you take 100 million into $1 trillion, it's 10 grand a creator. YouTube or Rumble is easy to do because Rumble's a standalone, they're a public company. And what did I say the market cap was earlier? 4.2 billion, maybe 4.3. I don't know. Now, normally, it's normally hangs around between 2 and 3 billion. 2.5 is about the normal. And if you look up how many channels does Rumble have, it's 250,000 channels. So it would be about the same. 250,000 into $2.5 billion market cap is 10,000 a creator. It jumped. Now it's 4.2 or 4.3 billion. So my guess would be they either have news because nothing jumps up 60, 70% without something about to happen. So my guess is they may make an announcement that now they have 300,000 or 400,000 creators or maybe something else. because it jumped up significantly where creators are now worth about 16 grand per person. So
Wow.
that seems a little high. So, but in
That
any
is high.
event,
Well,
my
look, go ahead.
the content we carry, Dave, you can't put on YouTube, you can't put on Rumble, you can't put on Apple Podcasts. It's the city council meeting, the high school football game, it's written news. It's somebody who writes about wine. It's somebody who may do that may cover high school sports. And it's all written stuff. So that stuff doesn't go on YouTube. That's the void we fill. And the ability to be able to drill down to a specific city or county or market with the content. That's your scale. So as I explain to people, we do local news at scale, and we are an information aggregator. So our goal would be to take all the content that flows out of the US, bring it under one umbrella, and create one uniform media. That's it.
Yeah,
And that's the model.
I think that's
What are you looking for?
absolutely. I'm looking for where you go. Invest. Here we go.
Oh, you found it. Yeah, it's at the bottom of the page.
Yeah, I got that. So I'm pulling that up and I'll describe it for the audience. The future of news belongs to the people. If we're going to take this country back, we have to control the news media. And this is the opportunity to do it. And you can see here, my name is Sam Anthony. Looks considerably nice there, doesn't he? Yeah, look at that.
It
A
looks a little
handsome guy
younger.
there. Okay. And then it has invest now. And basically, he gets into all the detail how you do this. People are crazy if they don't do this. Seriously, you are crazy if you don't do this because this is going to replace legacy media. People hate it, but people want to go to where they know they can get reliable news. And your Yakima guy on YouTube might not be giving you what you need. Here you got huge choices. And let's say you're in Phoenix, but you want to know what's going on locally in Chicago. Just put in the zip code. Piece of cake. So
Dave,
anyway, you have invest now. Let me click that on there. So there you go. You have quick picks and invest 300, invest 600, invest 1500. Okay. And I think those are low amounts for where this is going.
or you type in what you want.
Yeah,
You asked me a
exactly.
question about the value, so I'm going to give you the value. So when you raise capital, you have to have a valuation put on it. Okay. And we have 6,200 creators. So say 6,000 creators. So the actual current value of our digital property based on what Rumble's valued at or what YouTube is valued at would be 10,000 a creator or $60 million.
Ooh.
Okay. So what we've done is we're doing a small offering. You notice the offering was 365 grand. We're now below 300. Okay. So we've eaten a lot of that up. So let's just say 300 grand we have left. I'll sell out of that pretty quick. This is all going at $2. The next round is going to be at a higher number, but it's going to be a 1.2 million. The game plan for me is to raise as little money as I can, but make the company proceed and grow and scale over the next couple of years to
Hmm.
where you have a market cap on a minimum level of 50,000 creators. Now, if you take 50,000 and multiply it by 10,000 a creator, that's $500 million. So if you invested where it was 20 million, do the math. At 100,000 creators, this would be worth a billion. And that would be literally 50 times your money if you bought it at 20 million.
I
So if
guess
you want to know the opportunity, you could wait until I get to 100,000 creators before you buy this. You're just going to be paying a lot more.
yeah, you pay a lot more. And also people that get in now, you run the benefit here of when this splits, you're going to make a hell of a lot of money.
The game plan is to take it public, Dave. I think we could get that done within 36 months. I'd like to do it at about 100,000 creators
Hmm.
because the amount of money I want to raise is going to be fairly significant. We'll bring in a new management team. I'll be the CEO, and we'll put together a business plan that scales this across the globe. So it may be 150, $200 million raise.
Wow.
Yeah.
That
So the bigger the number, the less you're giving up. The trick is to keep me above 51%. That's the game plan.
it's
So
incredible.
this is why, Dave, I'm selling $300,000. Look at the offering, 365 grand. You see it underneath my
I
my
see that.
video?
Yeah.
Okay. Nobody raises 300 grand. Okay. Everybody puts a million, 2 million, 5 million. I'm doing a 300 grand offering. I'm selling crumbs, but I'm selling cheap crumbs. They're selling it at a low valuation. The next one I'll probably do at $3, but I'm only going to sell $1 million worth. That's about 1.5 million between the two. That should easily get tech in place that we need to make this fully scalable and at least 50,000 plus creators. And then you'll start looking for it. Then the valuation goes through the roof. The next one after that's going to be north of 100 million.
Yeah, I look at this as I just am baffled this hasn't grown faster, and it's grown pretty good. But this is going to reach a critical mass. And I want to explain one thing. I mean, we kind of touched on this earlier, but I want to hit this point hard. Sam could go out and get millions of dollars now, but the corporations he'd bring in would carry a price. You're going to do what we want, like Big Pharma. You could never have an article about how some kind of medication's harming the public. And they would exert their influence this way. So if you really want the truth, this is how you build an armada of getting offerings of regular people that can't control the platform.
Exactly. It's the people powered press. And if we're really going to be a news organization that's by the people for the people should own it, not BlackRock and Vanguard. I'm
Oh,
just
they'll be
saying.
showing up. They'll be showing up with the equity.
They will. So when you take it public and you're doing a public offering, I'm sure they'll take positions in it. I mean, they have so much money, they're just looking to make money, but they won't have any control. If they play now, they control everything.
Yeah,
So
I guarantee they're watching you.
we're starting to get out there. We're starting to get big. I mean, remember all the content we've been bringing in, all those links are all being pushed out. So, watch what happens when we're 10 times as big. You're going to have 10 times as many links. I mean, that to me, I would be shocked if by the time we got to 50,000 creators, we didn't get an offer from all the tech giants
Okay,
because they're
so
going to want to own it. The future of news will be exactly what we do. It's inevitable. The question is who's going to own it? Is it going to be the people or is it going to be the tech giants?
no, I couldn't agree with you more here, and I want to put this back up on the screen, and I'll read it to people who can't see it. But I think you're just going to see, folks, this is really where you want to be, and I'm going to do more. Look at this. All you got to do is go to invest.highlander.ai/Nico, Nico, Nico Ventures. That's all you got to do. And it's also at your news at the bottom of the page. You just go down and click invest. But the biggest thing too is contribute. You don't have to be a Pulitzer Prize award-winning author. Just tell your story about what's going on in your area, and you're defeating the corrupt mainstream media. I mean, just your participation is defeating them.
But Dave, go back to your news and show them a mouse over the local edition and show all the categories. I have people that just do entertainment news, local, like things going on in the community.
Yeah, let me see
Pe Foodies.
if I can pull this up here again because I clicked it off. But yeah, I hear you. If you go to, let me put this in. Okay, I'll get it right this time, Sam. We're going to
Okay.
go to no, not YouTube, yournews.com. Okay. Um, just imagine I just censored YouTube. How about that? Okay. So anyway, where do we go here? I got the page up here. I'm describing it for the audio
Okay.
only
Well, I don't
audience.
see it yet. I don't see it. You got to share it.
Oh, yeah. What am I doing here? Okay. I know how to do this stuff, Sam. I learned a long time ago. Here we go. Um, Share. It's not going to let me in.
There you go. It's coming up.
Okay. That's
Okay,
the
so
link.
so
We've
now
already
you got to
shown it.
get
Let me just say this. In the
hmm,
interest of time here, we'll just send them to yournews.com, and there's all kinds of local feeds. And
there's
basically just describe the categories.
sure. You have home business, sports, politics, entertainment, home and garden, food and wine, lifestyle, travel, um, science and technology. I have people that do movie reviews, local theater critics, local restaurant reviews. It doesn't have to be hard news or investigative stuff. There's people that love fashion and we could do fashion on a local level. So somebody could be a New York fashion expert, somebody could be a Maricopa County fashion expert. You're there now. Now you just need to make it bigger so we can see it. We can only see a little bit of the page here.
Oh, it's not working for me. I'm sorry about that.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with my system right now. I think
You
you're
want me to try it on my end?
no, because we're just about out
Okay.
of time. But I think
Okay.
we got what we need. And you know what? I'm going to be advertising for your news because I believe in it this much, and I want to get all of you away from these corrupt, controlled platforms as possible. So we're gonna share with you how to do this. And so I'm gonna run some ads because sometimes people don't get it on the first go. You know, I sell this product called Nanosoma. It saved my life 2 years ago, and I won't go into the details. And people have listened, listened, listened. And this one guy told me the other day, he said, "Yeah, I heard about 30 times, Dave." And he goes, and I went and tried it. He goes, "My, you didn't stress it strongly enough." Some people don't get things the first time. They just, sometimes we got to see things multiple times. Okay.
Exactly.
It's kind of like a first date that doesn't click, but the second date, oh, interesting. So, anyway, Sam, this is such a novel idea, and I'm so happy that you're doing this. I'll have this up later this afternoon on regular social media, and then help me out by helping me with that nice little platform we call Rumble.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I
Get it on Rumble. Send it to me. I'll take care of it.
I appreciate that. I'll let you know when I have the link. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, all you got to do is go to yournews.com, and you know how the game is played, folks. The six entities control 98% of the media. Okay, you got six agendas blended into one. They come from the same backgrounds. They cooperate with each other. And who's the loser in this? You. My people perish for a lack of knowledge, and we can turn that around. Hey, Sam, thanks so much for coming on, my friend.
Yeah.
This was enlightening and fun.
Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. And you have yourself a great weekend. And I'll see you soon.
All right, buddy.